Manifesting not working for you. Over the last year and a half, I rewired my brain and suddenly everything clicked into place for me. And I'm going to tell you exactly how I did it in the next few minutes. I'm Jim, y'all. I've been coaching people for over 30 years, but as I said, in the last year or so, I completely rewired my brain, readjusted my focus in life, and it's changed it all for me. If that sounds like something that might help you, I want to invite you to subscribe below, like this video, give me a comment down there so I can get to know you a little better as you get to know me a little better. But how did I do it? 3 simple things that really changed my life. And honestly, it all just clicked into place overnight, almost suddenly. After all this rewiring, things just clicked. And here's how it happened. Have you ever been driving somewhere and you know a particular radio station and you tune it in and it's not quite there yet? You click the button or you tune the tuner on your radio and you set it for that station because it's your favorite station and you're waiting on it to come in and it's not there, and you start to hear these kind of hints of it. It's a little fuzzy and then it's a little clearer and then it's a little fuzzy again and then it's a little clearer again, and then suddenly it just clicks into place and you can hear your favorite station without interruption. It's crystal clear because you've driven in range. That's really kind of the way all of this worked for me, and I believe it's the way it works for most people. A lot of manifestation coaches will tell you just do this simple thing and you'll manifest overnight. I don't really believe it works like that because you're overcoming some big things in your life, and I want to share 3 things in the next few minutes that I have narrowed down that took me a year to figure out, and hopefully you can figure it out a lot quicker. The first thing that has to happen is you have to redirect your life if you want to manifest a new life, whatever that life looks like, whatever that relationship or dream life or dream job or dream destination, whatever the life you want looks like, you've got to redirect before you're going to get there. What I mean by that is there's 2 things involved in redirecting your life. Number 1, you've got to figure out what it is that you no longer want. What do you not want to be a reality in your life anymore? That's going to lead you to what you do want. Your don't leads to your do. I don't want this, I do want this. And the second part of that is you've got to figure out what you do want and set your intention on it. Setting intention is kind of like tuning in your radio station. If you listen to 98.5, whatever it is in your neck of the woods, it's cow country here for us in Wisconsin, but if you know that's the station you want, you tune it in on your radio. That's setting your intention. When you set your intention, you're basically saying, this is specifically exactly what I want out of life. I can help you with intention statements. I've got some videos about that and how you build one of those. It's a present tense, powerful statement about the reality you want as if you are already living it. And it's important to do that. But until you understand what you don't want anymore, I'm tired of this life, I'm tired of living this way, feeling this way, doing these things, it's going to be really hard for you to determine what you do want. So I started with that in my life. Figured out I don't like this life anymore. It's fine, but I want a better life. And I set my intention on it, set an intention statement for it. And I've been moving toward it ever since over the last year. Now, the second thing is once you redirect, you need to move into a phase that was one of the hardest things for me, but that really changed it all. And that is to release. There are some things you need to release in your life. And for me, it was 2 big things. Number 1 is limiting beliefs. Whether you know it or not, if you're not living the life of your dreams, if you're not living the life you want, you have some limiting beliefs about yourself, because only 2 people or 2 entities in this cosmos, in this universe, control your reality. One is source. One is that divine universal power that we call God, and the other is you. You are a co-creator with that source. That source is part of you. You are part of it, and we are part of each other. In fact, we're all really just one with it, and one with each other is the reality of how all of that works. I have other videos about that as well. But the truth is, you have to come to a place in your life where you say, I'm ready to release my limiting beliefs. I'm ready to let go of what I've told myself is true about myself, and I'm ready to embrace the new me. When you start to embrace the new you, the person you're really designed to be and you're meant to be, all kinds of limiting beliefs are going to pop up in your mind. You can't because you would, but you know what happened. If you had this, it could happen. You don't have enough money. You don't have enough talent. You aren't beautiful enough. All these things will pop up. You're too old. If you're like me and you're a Gen Xer, you believe all these lies that people around you in your environment and you yourself internally have told yourself and believed about yourself. That's limiting beliefs, and you got to let it go. It took me a while to begin to wrestle with my limiting beliefs and let some of them go. But what really was hardest for me is when I learned to start letting go of some things that programmed those limiting beliefs into me, some of my past baggage. I'm a futurist. I've always been a guy who pursues the next thing, who goes after the challenge. And I never thought of myself as a person trapped by my past. But the more I turned inward and the more I refocused my intention and attention on what's truly me, the Jim inside, the more I started realizing I had all kinds of baggage that was holding me back, all kinds of fears, all kinds of doubts, all kinds of untruths. About 90% of the things you believe about yourself that hold you back are absolutely not even true. And I started letting go of those limiting beliefs, and then I started letting go of that past baggage, letting go of the people who had wronged me or hurt me that I'd held on to, letting go of the people who had taught me things that held me back on my journey. I started letting that go, forgiving them, forgiving myself, and man, that's when things started to break for me and they started to change. And we're getting close to where it all clicked into place for me. So you have to redirect from the life you don't want to the life you do want. You have to release some things in your life, some limiting beliefs, some baggage that you've held on to from the past. And finally, the third thing is you have to refocus your attention on a whole new life. Now, how do we do that? Here's how. This is where it literally all clicked into place almost overnight for me. I began to refocus my attention from the outside world to the inside world. I began to refocus on what was going on around me and blaming my limitations, blaming my problems, looking at my situation. When I stopped looking outside for the answers and I turned inside to my spiritual gem, to the person who is connected with my source inwardly, on the inside of me, my real self. When I turned from the outside to the inside, it changed it all for me. And if you guys been with me at all, you know my story. I was a pastor for 30 years and left all of that behind. And that's when I really began to discover what this was all about. So I was always a spiritual person, but I was also a religious person. I was tied to a lot of things that held me back. But when I turned inside and started to understand my connection with Source, with God, and my connection with you and you with me, it absolutely started to change my life. I started to refocus towards the inner me. And as I did that, a second thing happened, and this is when it really clicked in place for me. I began to refocus my external attention, not on shaping my reality. This is where I would get caught up in the past. I've had so many pipe dreams, so many things that I pursued, that I tried, that I hoped would be the answer to my dream life, and they didn't pan out. I was focusing all my energy on trying to make those things happen, grinding. And I'm not going to lie to you, I still get caught up in grinding mode sometimes. When I feel that, I know I've focused on the wrong external things. I turn back inward, and now I redirect what I do focus on externally towards loving people, towards just pouring out love on others. And that's what made it click for me. I've always been a person who was compassionate, and I love people, and I wanted to help people and help them grow, but I never understood that when I let go of trying to make my dreams happen and my things come true, and don't get me wrong, I pursue dreams. I go after things. I take action, but it's inspired action now that I feel from that source, that force within that says, do this and do it, not just to get what you want, but to live who you are from your truth, Jim, out of your reality. When I do that, I love others and I reach out to them in real and significant ways, and all of these things flow into my life. More joy, more peace, more contentment. I'll tag the last video at the end of this video that I shared about a practical encounter I had with this in my other job, in my sales job, and how I connected with some customers and some employees and some people, or about how I connected with some of my coworkers in a deep spiritual way just recently, and it blew my mind, the response there and what it did for me to give away to them. See, when we learn to let go of the things that are holding us back and begin to embrace the person we're designed and made to be, that person that is the best person you can imagine, your life starts to change. These three things took me over a year to figure out, but it seems like they suddenly clicked into place when all three of these elements came into unison and began to operate in my life. And now all kinds of wild things are happening. The life of my dreams is unfolding in front of me, and it can be for you as well if you just plug in and begin to believe that within you is the answer to the dream that lies outside of you.